physically demanding lunar EVAs. So we're very excited about what the astronauts have said about the device and what they have to say about the role exercise plays, going to the moon. And also the mental benefit.
Sure.
They just really like sweating, breaking the sweat, and actually just feeling like they're just getting a workout.
Right.
So
thank you so much, Rick. I really appreciate it. I know they're going to be in good hands, so we'll let you get back to it. Thank you so much.
Megan, thanks for the time.
Back to you, Rob.
Okay, Megan, back here in Mission Control in Houston, everything is moving along in order. This view of Reid Wiseman on the left, Victor Glover on the right. We have good suit leak checks. Everything aboard integrity is in excellent shape. The vehicle, with the Earth growing larger and larger in the field of view, we're now just about 8,200 nautical miles away from Earth and closing in for a splashdown just 1 hour and 5 minutes from now.
Integrity, just under a minute till your GPS maneuver initiates, and both GPS units look eager to acquire.
Outstanding. Seats 3 and 4 are working on seat strap in now.
Houston copies.
Once again, as we start to close in on some of the major milestones, the first one coming up in just 31 minutes.
And Integrity, just confirming the LCG gas trap was able to be closed out.
Affirmative.
Copy.
Crew module, service module separation scheduled just 31 minutes from now. The key point of interest, of course, will be the performance of Integrity's heat shield during its high-speed entry back into Earth and the peak heating that is expected around the spacecraft of some 4,000 to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. On Artemis I, as I think most folks know by now, we flew a trajectory known as a skip entry, in which we performed an initial dip into the atmosphere to bleed off some energy. Then we skipped out of the atmosphere and dipped back into the atmosphere before splashing down in the Pacific. But after the mission was over with, we noticed unexpected liberation of some of the charring effects on the heat shield known as AVCOAT. Before the flight, we had an opportunity to sit down and talk with Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling to get a perspective on what this all means and how the mission was redesigned to try to protect Integrity's heat shield to a higher extent. Let's take a look at that interview.
Returning from the moon is a lot different than deorbiting from low Earth orbit. When we return from the moon, we expect to achieve velocities upwards of 36,000 feet per second. And in order to slow down to a nice, graceful splashdown in the Pacific Ocean, the flight crew is going to experience between 3 and 4 times the force of Earth's gravity. On Artemis I, pressure buildup inside the char layer of the heat shield resulted in the char losses we saw. NASA established a Tiger team whose job was to investigate the cause of the problem and then make recommendations on how to fly the Artemis II mission safely and successfully. And so for Artemis II, we are going to fly a profile that ensures the spacecraft will not see that same type of pressure profile. And so the char losses seen on Artemis II
all right.
be like
Hope everybody is doing well. Hope you
Rick
are
Henfling,
excited.
Indicated that the
My fellow Aggie is in the house.
And the shortening of the distance of transit to the splashdown zone from the point of entry interface when we reach the top of the Earth's atmosphere, which will be coming up at 6:53. And
make sure everything is good. So I trust that you all are hearing me well and you see me well. So please let me know. Things are going to move fast and really. In just about 30 minutes, things are going to start happening. Okay. So we got our live feed going on there from NASA. And we're just looking forward to everything. And we've spent a lot of time talking about Victor Glover. But I discovered today there are some sisters that we also need to mention. So let me take you to a picture. I think I got everybody. here. Let me just bring them up on the screen. I'll talk about who they are in just a moment, but the sisters are in the house, okay? And here we go. Yeah. Lakeisha Hawkins, Miss Dooms, Miss Taylor. Okay, so awesome. The sisters are in the house. They are in the house. I think of the three, Miss Hawkins is the highest ranking sister. So there we go. Again, I'll share some more information about them in a few. All right, this is a live shot of the spacecraft, spaceship here. I think Reid Wiseman is, I can't tell which one now, but Victor Glover, the pilot, is also sitting there. And as I said, things are going to start moving fast here in about, not long, about 20 minutes. All right. Hey, everybody. Good evening from Florida. Thank you, Kingfish, for joining us. Yes, good evening from Virginia. Thank you so much for joining us. I think these are some of the ones who were with us the last time, some of the old faithfuls. Welcome back. In fact, USS LKA, that looks familiar. I think you told us about how your father instilled a love for science and aerospace and so forth. Really enjoyed your comments. Hello from San Antonio. Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. This is like family. This is like family. And again, I definitely shout out my fellow Aggie. Hope you all have had a good Friday. Let me kind of run down what we're going to experience this evening. Yeah, what we're going to experience. And let me just check in and make sure. I don't think anything is being said at the moment.
All of the activities from the start of entry interface to the point of splashdown will be quite rapid fire.
From Bill.
Just 13.5 minutes from the point at which we
Beltsville, Maryland. Thank you for joining us, and we all second
and just to show you
that motion.
Rick Shearing, the flight
that they have a safe return.
In his interview with Megan Cruz, all of this
This
happens
is
to decelerate the vehicle
most
from traveling around Mach
dangerous
33
part right
to
here.
just 19 miles an hour
Re-entering the
splashdown.
atmosphere.
All of that happening in just 13.5 minutes.
So we got to keep them lifted up.
But the vehicle and the parachutes are all designed to support all of that. So we'll be standing by to report all that to you in sequential fashion as these milestones are ticked off and as we hear from the crew during its entry back into the Earth's atmosphere and ultimately when they emerge from the blackout period. And at that point, we'll be just minutes away from splashdown. So with all of those preparations ongoing, we can return here briefly for another report from the USS John P. Murtha and Megan Cruz. Megan?
All right, so real quickly, very quickly. So at 6:33 p.m. Central Standard Time, we are expecting the very first thing to happen, which is the service module separation. The spacecraft has two main parts: the crew module, where the actual crew is, and the service module that provides the power, the propulsion, and so on. So again, we're expecting that separation at 6:30 p.m. Again, that's about 20 minutes away. And then we, at 6:37, just 4 minutes later, that's why we want to make sure we get all this, there'll be the reentry positioning burn. This is a small thruster burn that precisely adjusts the angle at which the capsule will hit the atmosphere. So the angle got to be perfect. Everything has to be just right. And for those of you who saw the movie Hidden Figures, you know that it was a black woman who did those calculations in her head and made this a much safer proposition for the astronauts. Okay? Katherine Johnson is her name. It's a good movie. You all should go watch that. Then there's the atmospheric entry and peak heating. That will happen at 6:53 p.m. approximately. This is the most dramatic moment of the whole mission. The whole mission. The whole mission. As the spaceship slams into the atmosphere, air in front of the capsule compresses and heats up, creating temperatures of about 2,700 degrees Celsius, okay, which is roughly 4,900 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than lava, okay? All right, so that is really, 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 really something. And at that moment, the capsule is essentially a controlled fireball at that moment. So it's going to look like an actual fireball. Okay, and then there's going to be a communication blackout at about 6:53. I'm trying to make sure we stay abreast of the time. So those are the things that we're looking for. There's some other things that will happen here. Out on that ship is the team that's going to rush to them and get them out of the water and make sure, that everything is good and so on. So they got various teams in place. I was actually stationed there in San Diego at the Balboa Hospital. I was a hospital corpsman, and I received my training there. So it's exciting to see all of this and the involvement of the United States Navy and Air Force and so on. Okay? So, yeah. Yes, the USS John Murtha will pick them up. Okay, and let's see here. And thank you all so much for chiming in and providing all this good information. The spacecraft will be 60 miles southwest of the coast of San Diego. Hidden Figures is on HBO Max. You ought to watch that. When I went and saw that movie, I was sitting in that theater sobbing with pride. And it was just something, having studied and having in college studied chemistry, I just knew what we were looking at, and I deeply appreciated it, deeply. It is a great, one of the best movies I've ever seen. Taraji P. Henson really, really did her thing in that movie. About 7 miles a second Scott Bridge informed us here. Thank you all. This is some really good information that you all are providing. And let us know where you're coming in from. Let us know where you're coming in from. All right, let's listen a little bit and let's see what's going on here.
From the time of the translunar injection burn back on April 2nd, we've just handed back to the Tracking and Data Relay satellite system as we prepare for the crew module service module separation that will take place just 17 minutes from now. With the Earth looming in front of Integrity as it barrels back for a splashdown of the Pacific just 50 minutes from now, we're just 5,700 nautical miles from splashdown. Just one other quick note about the comparison from the Artemis I entry profile to the Artemis II entry profile and how that is serving as an extra layer of protection for Integrity's heat shield. The Artemis I entry had an entry range of some 3,178 nautical miles, a very long downtrack, and a very longer period of exposure to heat loads than we're experiencing tonight.
Are you all as excited as I am right now? It's really, really, really exciting. This is like must-watch TV. All this history that is being made. And not only, again, is Victor Glover, highly celebrated here, but as I said earlier, there are 3 African-American women who are also involved in this mission. Lakeisha Hawkins, Miss Domes, Miss Taylor, and I believe Miss Hawkins is very high up in NASA. So aren't you just really proud of these young women? Or at least they look young. I'm sure they are, up in age a little bit, but still they look young and they're doing very well in their career. So there's not just Victor Glover, but there are 3 sisters as well. All right. Hello from Mississippi. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. Santa Monica, California. Absolutely. Yes, someone pointed out that Ms. Katherine Johnson was more accurate than the NASA computers. In fact, they called them computers, and I'm not going to say anymore. I don't want to spoil this for those of you who haven't seen the movie yet. All right. Southern California, how are you? How are you? How are you out there? Okay. Let's check back in. We're getting so close to things. Canton, Ohio in the house. Yes, home of the Football Hall of Fame. Absolutely.
The future missions coming back from the south pole of the moon when we initiate lunar landings. So we've handed over to the Tracking and Data Relay satellite system. That's where we'll have communications for the rest of the flight. Just to give you some time hacks here, we're 13.5 minutes away from crew module service module separation, and just 17 minutes away from the raise burn, that 19-second firing of the thrusters that will basically be the final fine-tuning of the angle of attack for Integrity as it enters the Earth's atmosphere.
Illinois in the house. Chicago in the house. Welcome, welcome. Windy City. I did boot camp at Great Lakes. Great Lakes.
And once again, a dueling box view of some of the assets that are involved in recovery operations today. The
Integrity, cabin configured, all crew suited and seated.
Houston, copies.
That confirmation from Reid Wiseman aboard.
Real quickly, Lakeisha Hawkins, real quickly. Lakeisha Hawkins, Acting Deputy Associate Administrator, Exploration Systems Development Mission Directorate. Wow, she's heavy. And an HBCU grad. She holds a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from FAMU and a master's from the University of South Florida. All right. All right. Ms. Dooms, CERCOM, Space Exploration Research Communication Flight Controller, and Miss Taylor, NASA Lunar Scientist, Artemis, 2 and 3 astronaut crew training cadre. So highly qualified. And as we said already, this just kills this anti-DEI stuff, right? You got to be highly qualified to be where these ladies are. So this just kills that whole DEI mess. Okay, and that's why they try so hard to get rid of such people, because it kills the narrative. Okay, all right, let's go back because we're getting really close now.
Toward the moon, but also conducting the fine-tuning of its trajectory to bring it to this point where we are dead spot on down the middle of the corridor trajectory-wise to bring integrity down for
Illinois in the house.
Pacific, just 44 minutes.
Long Island in the house. Thank you for joining. Yes, shout out to FAMU. Absolutely. FAMU was in our district when I was in college. I was back in Javon back when we were in the MEAC district or conference. Played FAMU many times.
What you're looking at is a computer-generated visualization based on real-time telemetry from Integrity. Currently traveling about 16,000 miles an hour. Integrity traveling about 16,000 miles an hour.
For the prop cautions, we're taking a look.
Copy that.
Now just about 5,100 miles from Earth. Splashdown scheduled 43 minutes from now. We're just 9.5 minutes away from the crew module service module separation.
All right, that gives me a moment to shout out some folks. Okay, Long Island, we shouted you out. Thank you again for joining.
We are confirming.
And yes, if you haven't seen Hidden Figures, you got to go see that.
Looks like a good hot fire.
American history, you're right. Yes, sir. It's being made. Yep, A&T, Central Rivalries, or Rivals. Javon, I actually went to both of those universities. I went to A&T undergrad and went to law school at Central.
Rapid-fire succession of critical activities on board that will lead to entry interface just 28 minutes from now, where the vehicle will enter the Earth's atmosphere at an altitude of 400,000 feet. The time of entry interface, 6:53 and 30 seconds p.m. Central Time.
For some of this, Washington in the house. For some of this, I'm gonna go to the larger screen to see if that helps us see things even better. So we're getting really close now. All right, so We're just going to sit here and listen and watch. When they leave the control room, so
Integrity's astronauts were awakened at mid-morning to begin their entry preparations. And propulsion officer now reports a good hot fire test in preparation for the crew module service module separation.
You all be praying.
We're now inside 41 minutes until splashdown.
Integrity Houston, we have confirmed a good CMRCS hot fire. And although we are not seeing GPS acquired yet, you can skip the troubleshooting steps in 157 for now.
Be praying.
Integrity copies.
I used to hear the older folk used to say, if you know the words
that
prayer.
GPS discussion indicating that we will be acquiring navigational data for Integrity through the Global Positioning System equipment on board. We just don't have it yet, but we will. All of Integrity's systems are in great shape to support its high-speed entry into the Earth's atmosphere. It, once again, will reach a peak speed of 24,661.21 miles an hour.
Your call, GPS. We at least have GPS 1 looking good on board.
Indianapolis in the house.
We are confirming.
The guidance, navigation, and control officer here in Mission Control confirming that we have good lock on GPS data. We are on a communications link now through the tracking and data relay satellite system. Now, following splashdown, we're going to lose that link and go to what's called a VLDR, a very low data rate communications link, so that we can talk to the crew inside Integrity as they are on the water.
Integrity, confirm we do see good GPS.
We do too, especially GPS 1 is accepting in nav channels 1 and 3.
That GPS data is basically telling Integrity's onboard computers its position relative to the Earth, but its trajectory and its orientation according to flight dynamics and the guidance, navigation, and control officer is spot on. We have now armed the pyros for the crew module service module separation coming up less than 5 minutes from now. Once again, just 10 seconds after entry interface, we will see Integrity reaching its peak speed of 24,661.21 miles per hour. That will be just seconds before we begin a 6-minute blackout period.
Integrity Houston, your vehicle is in a good config for CM-SM SEP and go for CM raise.
Houston, we see the same on board and copy go for CM raise.
That CM raise referred to as the slight firing of 19 seconds by Integrity's thrusters with a change in velocity of 9.9 feet per second, a slight nudge of the aft end of the vehicle so that it's tilted a bit upward, providing the final angle of attack as the vehicle enters the Earth's atmosphere. This being the mitigating factor that will reduce heat loads on the heat shield as we reach a point downrange from the start of entry interface, some 1,701 nautical miles to the splashdown site. Integrity systems in excellent shape. We are currently 3,300 nautical miles left in this mission. Splashdown scheduled 36 minutes, 39 seconds from now.
Integrity Houston, for the 2 enabled prop cautions, What happened is while the thrusters were firing, multiple pressure sensors on each of the strings diverged a bit from each other. Those limits look to be set pretty tight. We think it could happen again when the thrusters fire in the future, so we are going to suppress those messages.
We concur with suppress, not inhibit. Thank you.
That exchange between Jackie Mahaffey, our Capcom for tonight, and Reid Wiseman aboard Integrity, indicating basically to ignore sensor data. All of Integrity's systems are in good shape. Now, coming up on about 90 seconds till the crew module, service module separation. All quiet here in Mission Control as we enter the most critical phase of the completion of this flight. All of the preparatory activities leading up to the vehicle entering the Earth's atmosphere just 21 minutes from now. Coming up on 1 minute. Mark 1 minute till crew module, service module separation. And we have confirmation of crew module, service module separation. And a great view, albeit momentarily.
Houston, good step on board.
Houston copies and concurs.
The European service module now separated from Integrity.
We saw it.
Done.
We saw it.
Integrity, no action for the 4
How cool was that?
cautions. Those are
We saw the
SM
separation.
related, not applicable.
Yeah. We saw the separation. Did you all see that? Hit me up in the chat. Tell me. Let me know if you saw that separation. Wow. Wow. We saw it up close. That was cool.
With Integrity now flying free on its own for the remaining 32 minutes of
that
this
was
mission.
Cool. Did y'all see it?
Next
now
up,
there's about
the raise burn, a 19-second firing of Integrity's thrusters.
Yeah, about 4 minutes now. There will be the re-entry positioning burn.
Integrity copies. Good GPS 2.
Wow. Wow.
Coming up on the 2-minute mark until the raise burn. Again, this is the final tweaking of the orientation of Integrity to put it in the right angle, if you will, the angle of attack that it will fly in during its entrance into the Earth's atmosphere. Entry interface now just 18 minutes, 25 seconds away.
Wow.
This is a
Let's
visualization, but driven by real-time telemetry. This is the maneuvering of Integrity to the raise burn orientation. Just 2,800 miles from Earth.
Houston, we got a great view of the European service module out the window with the sun hitting the side and the solar rays, and the NASA worm right there. It's a beautiful looking machine.
Roger.
And we have completed the maneuver to the raise burn orientation, 1 minute away from the raise burn. And the crew module raise burn is underway, a 19-second firing of the thrusters, and we have a completion of the burn.
Wow. So now...
Integrity, good. CM raise burn. Your flight path angle is within limits.
Integrity copies. Looks good on board, Jackie.
So the final maneuver is now complete. Our trajectory for a splashdown in the Pacific 29 minutes from now is set and will not be amended any further. And we have the right angle of attack to mitigate any excessive heat loads on the vehicle during entry interface.
Integrity, Houston, a heads up about comm coverage. When you perform the 180 roll, for the first minute or so in that attitude, we expect about a minute LOS.
We copy.
All right. Let me just say that reentry positioning burn, we got a few minutes before the next thing, which is the atmospheric entry and peak heating.
Traces of Earth's atmosphere, 14 minutes, 45 seconds from now. 6:53 and 30 seconds is what is pegged for...
He said 14 minutes, about 14 minutes before that happens. But what they just did, or what just happened with that reentry burn, my note says that if it's too steep an angle, because that's what they had to do, the ship had to get in the proper angle. If it was too steep an angle, the capsule burns up. Too shallow, and it skips across the atmosphere like a stone on water and doesn't come back down. So everything worked beautifully. Our prayers were answered on that. And it is just awesome to be watching this live as it happens. Live as it happens. Yes, so yeah, I agree. I agree that the younger generation, I hope, are somewhere watching this. I really hope so. Yeah, and you all saw the separation. I'm actually going back and rewatching that a few times. That was pretty doggone cool to see that separation like that. That was really cool. I mean, we literally saw it right up, like we were right there. Just powerful, powerful, powerful. So yeah, you all said you saw it. It didn't last very long, for us here at least. Um, so yeah. So now, again, we're waiting for the atmospheric entry and peak heating. And my note says that this is the most dramatic moment of the whole mission. All right, because this is when they're going to basically slam into Earth's atmosphere. I mean, going from that high speed and then slowing up, inertia. I don't know if inertia is really working at that, in that where, they're just before they get in the atmosphere, Earth's atmosphere. I don't know, because gravity, is not fully working as they're coming down. It will certainly be once they get in the atmosphere. So I don't know if inertia will kick in or not, but to be going that fast and then suddenly, come to a really, really, really slow rate of speed. Wow. Wow. So that's next, and we're probably about 10 minutes away from that. Okay. The heat is very high during that moment, as I told you earlier, about 4,900 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than lava as it comes out of a volcano. And you can imagine how hot that is. And so for that moment, that spaceship that we saw that they're in is going to be basically a ball of fire. Okay? It's going to be basically a ball of fire. And that's why we got to keep praying. Again, I used to hear the older folk talk about, if you know the words of prayer, pray. So I'm saying to you all, if you know the words of prayer, make sure you be praying for these folks. Okay? This is just so exciting. Somebody said I missed the separation because I blinked. I hope you're joking. I hope you're joking. I hope you did get it. I certainly do.
Integrity is on a trajectory from southwest and northeast across the Pacific Ocean, descending at a rate of 15,000.
And I see some of your comments kind of going off topic here. Stay on topic. We're talking about this historical event that's going on here.
Range to touchdown 4,300 nautical miles. All the systems in excellent shape.
Oh, Alan said his 11-year-old daughter is watching. She's very interested in.
Integrity, Orion in the EI roll 180 attitude.
Looks good on board, Jackie.
This view out of one of Integrity's windows. We had a call for 3 good baros. Those are barometric pressure sensors that feed altitude and rate of descent information to Integrity's computers that will trigger the parachute deployment sequence. We are less than 9 minutes away from entry interface, 22 minutes from splashdown.
Wow. You all need to stay on target here.
You can see the reflection of one of the crew members in the window.
I see some conversation here that has
out in the Pacific,
nothing
the
to
weather
do with
conditions
Artemis II.
remain go. Just a few clouds, some scattered clouds. Winds at 10 knots. Wave heights just about 4 feet. A gentle day in the Pacific for the homecoming of Integrity's astronauts.
Integrity back in EI attitude.
Someone watching all the way from Brazil.
Thank
Thank
you
you
on board,
for
Jackie.
joining us. Glad to have you.
Houston, purge is complete. Crew and vehicle are configured for entry.
Houston copies.
And we're in step 37, transferring nav state to BFS.
All right. We're looking at a close-up now of the capsule.
And Houston, in instruction 509, we are not below 0.2.
That's Commander Wiseman.
Integrity, no action required.
Integrity.
Now 6 minutes away from entry interface. We will hit the first traces of Earth's atmosphere at an altitude of 400,000 feet, traveling about 34,882 feet per second. Ranged splashdown at that point will be 1,701 nautical miles.
So we got some folks here who are keeping us abreast of speed, Mach 3 speed, 23,000 miles per hour. Yes, pray. This is the time we got to pray them on
Once
in.
again, just a reminder, some 24 seconds after entry interface, we do expect to lose communications with the vehicle and the crew during a 6-minute blackout period when a plasma shield will build up around the spacecraft due to the ionization, due to heating effects. And Flight Dynamics has just confirmed we will have a blackout period of exactly 6 minutes in duration. And once again, that's due to the fact that a plasma buildup around the vehicle will prevent communications and data, so we will not be able to talk to the crew members at that time, nor will we receive data here in the flight control room.
Houston, everything is looking good on board. Just confirm no pre-EI downloads.
Houston concurs.
That blackout period to begin at 6:53 and 54 seconds p.m. Central Time, and again will last about 6 minutes in duration. We're 4 minutes away from entry interface.
4 minutes. All right. So
this view from Integrity as it crosses from southwest to northeast across the Pacific Ocean, 3 minutes from entry interface. 16 and a half minutes till splashdown.
Wow. Harry Bear says his 14-year-old daughter's glued to the TV watching this.
The USS John P. Murtha and the recovery team is on station and in position, as are the airborne imagery assets that we hope to receive imagery from.
She attended NASA STEM program at NASA Johnson Space Center, Houston. All right, all right, all right. I love it, I love it, I love it. We need so many more African-American children in the STEM programs across the country. Really, really, we do. I taught chemistry, and I'm telling you, a lot of our kids are not taking those science courses, those math courses, the AP, especially the AP courses. Get your kids in those AP courses. And I promise you, if you get them in those AP courses and they do well, when they go to college, that first year, couple of years is going to be like a breeze because they have already been prepared for that rigorous research. So shout out to your daughter, Harry Bear, and thank you for sharing that. And if she's watching, if she hears any of this, young lady, go far, go far, go far, go far. All right, here we go.
Coming up on 1 minute until entry interface. Mark 1 minute until entry interface. 1 minute, 20 seconds until the expected start of our 6-minute blackout.
Integrity, 1 minute to a 6-minute blackout.
Integrity.
Ten seconds till entry interface. And we have crossed the threshold, now entering the Earth's atmosphere. We're at 400,000 feet, traveling 34,800 feet per second. Time to splash down, 13 minutes, 10 seconds.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Safe, 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 safe.
And as predicted, we've entered our communications blackout.
Wow.
This will be a 6-minute blackout period. No voice, no data from the crew.
Wow. Are you praying? Are you praying? Are you praying? That's what I want to know.
30 seconds away from the anticipated point of peak heating on the vehicle, where temperatures will rise to about 4,000 to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the true test of our trajectory. And from the G5 aircraft in the vicinity of the splashdown zone, this view of integrity.
I see it.
That pinpoint of light shows the vehicle as it enters the period of peak heating in the Earth's atmosphere, the first tug of gravity being felt by Integrity's astronauts since their launch back on April 1st.
Be praying, be praying, be praying, folks.
Four and a half minutes until the end of the blackout period.
Be praying.
Time to splash down, 11 minutes, 33 seconds.
Harry Bear said of his daughter, she is in a dual program since middle school. She loves interacting with people at NASA. Met the first black astronaut. Met Victor Glover. Sounds
the
like
landing and support officer reports that the P3 has acquisition on integrity.
sounds like we got a star. A star's born
3.5
here.
minutes left in this blackout period. This is a visualization of plasma buildup around the spacecraft and the repelling of that heat on Integrity's heat shield.
Just keep praying, folks. Keep praying. This is just amazing footage.
Flight Dynamics reports that airborne assets in the vicinity of the splashdown zone do have a visual on Integrity. Still 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in our blackout period. Time to splashdown, 9 minutes, 35 seconds.
Wow. Scott Bridge says plasma is a state of matter, essentially a hot ionized gas consisting of free electrons and positive ions comprising greater than 99%
Multiple
of the visible
airborne
universe,
assets, as part of the recovery team, all have visuals on Integrity,
including stars and light and lightning. Thank you for that. Wow. You all are seeing this in real time, up close.
And the WB-57 flying in the splashdown zone also has a visual. And the Navy helos also have visuals.
I'm going to pray
in the blackout period. Still do not have communications from the crew.
All right. Madison Barron and Harry Bear.
We're standing by for communications from the crew. We should be out of the blackout period less than a minute from now.
I'll see it in a moment. Let's listen.
We are now processing data from Integrity.
Wow. So that blackout period is over.
Landing and support officer reports the small boats are en route to the splashdown target zone. Passing through 150,000 feet, our trajectory is perfect. We're getting intermittent views of Integrity. Still waiting to establish voice communication.
Integrity, Houston, comm check, post-blackout.
Houston, Integrity, we have you loud and clear.
Your trajectory is nominal, and your recovery teams have visual.
Guidance looks good.
Wow.
No action for the enabled internal camera controller fail.
Big cheers from the viewing room here in Mission Control as voice communication reestablished with Commander Reid Wiseman. For America in a waiting world, Integrity is 5.5 minutes away from coming home.
Wow.
Passing 100,000 feet now.
Wow.
Range to splashdown 19 nautical miles.
Pinch myself. More black kids in STEM. More black kids in STEM. And I got some.
Integrity, impact to the camera controller fail is no cab 1 views of the chutes.
Look at it coming in.
Integrity.
Look at that.
We're processing good data through the GPS system. A good view of Integrity. Time to splashdown 4.5 minutes.
Wow.
And a view of Integrity from the WB-57. We're at 50,000 feet. The pyros are armed for forward bay covered jettison.
Wow.
And there go the first series of parachutes. And we're on drogues.
And Houston, we're visual 2 drogues out the window.
2 good drogue chutes. Next up.
We copy, we see them.
Next up, the deployment of pilot parachutes that will pull the main chutes out. Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Perfect descent rate according to flight dynamics.
Good rates on 2 drogues.
We see the same on board.
Passing through 10,000 feet. Still on drogues. Main chute deploy. We're at 5,000 feet. Search and recovery beacon has been activated on Integrity. And we have 3 good main chutes.
Wow. Wow.
Good
Man.
3 main chutes, good reefing, good descent rate.
Good rates, and we see 3
This is
good-looking
amazing.
parachutes.
This is amazing, folks. This is just flat out amazing. Think about this the next time you're flying in an airplane.
Integrity, cabin pressure indicates no need for hydrazine checks.
Man.
Integrity copies.
This is a perfect descent for Integrity. Its crew sounding hale and hearty on board. Time to splash
Wow.
down 1 minute, 15 seconds.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed. These folks circled around the moon and came back like this.
Integrity about to complete a journey spanning 694,481 miles from its launch from the Kennedy Space Center back on April 1st, and a trip around the moon.
Wow. Madison Barron. Madison Barron. You all remember that name. What we have to do as a people is put our hearts
passing through 1,000 feet.
Is put our hearts and souls into raising children who can achieve their wildest dreams. Our children can be the people who carry our complete community to the next horizon if we put our hearts and souls in making.
Integrity splashdown, sending post-landing command now.
Splashdown confirmed.
Copy splashdown, waiting on VLDR.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time. From the pages of Jules Verne to a modern-day mission to the moon, a new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete. Integrity's astronauts back on Earth. And the landing and support officer reports the vehicle is stable 1. We still will be deploying the crew module uprighting system to maintain that orientation. A perfect bullseye splashdown for Integrity and its 4 astronauts.
Thanks to Katherine Johnson. Thanks to Katherine Johnson. She used to figure this out in her head. Black woman from Virginia used to figure out how to bring those capsules back into the Earth's atmosphere at the right point in her head. Pencil and paper.
The unofficial splashdown time, 7:07 and 47 seconds p.m. Central Time. We'll get that refined for you. That would put the end of the mission at a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 31 minutes, 35 seconds.
And they talking about DEI.
And we're configuring for very low data rate.
Whew.
Once again, splashdown occurring in the Pacific, southwest of San Diego at 7:07 and 47 seconds p.m.
Integrity Houston, comm check on VLDR.
You all shout out Katherine Johnson. Shout her out. She's the one who used to do this, calculate this, what angle to come in, where to come in. She used to do it without any calculator, computer, cell phone, any of that. She did it in her head. Shout her out, Katherine Johnson. A black woman, and they're talking about we're in a position because of DEI. And also remember these sisters. They were involved in this mission. And Madison Barron, don't forget it. Madison Barron, keep her in your prayers. We have to put our hearts and souls in raising children who will take us to the next horizon. I said, put our hearts and souls into our children. Frederick Douglass said some of the most powerful words ever uttered. He said, it is easier to rear strong children than it is to repair broken men. We have to put our hearts and souls into our children. And right now, we need to be protecting our children. Because we're in a time where our government is not centering black children. We must. We must. I want you to remember something called the National Black Parents Association. I will have more information for you in the next few days. This is absolutely powerful. Madison Barron. That is absolutely right, Scott Bridge. They're not. They're not being centered. They're not being cared for. I know what I'm talking about. Katherine Johnson. Katherine Johnson. And now Hawkins, Dooms, and Taylor. And on deck, Madison Barron. Many other young African-American boys and girls coming up. And we got to be there for them. We got to be there for them. Got to put our hearts and souls into them. The Bible says, train up a child in the way that he should go. When he's old, he will not depart from that training. Train them up to be great, to be awesome, to be brilliant, to be disciplined, to value education, to enjoy learning, enjoy reading. You must train them up to do that. And you start young. You start when they're babies. And we have the assurance of Scripture. If you train them up, they won't depart. The old people say if they do, they'll come back because you've put it in them. That's what you call sneaker preach. I'll sneaker preach on you in a minute. I'll take you from science to the law to the preaching in a split second, just like that. This is pure amazing.
The propulsion officer here in Mission Control reports that we have safed the prop system on integrity.
Can you say again? That was very weak and broken.
Integrity, Houston did not call.
Copy that, Houston. It might have been on the SAR radio. Stand by.
Wow.
All of the milestones were executed in perfect fashion. Integrity entering the Earth's atmosphere right on time, reaching its peak speed shortly after a blackout period began. We emerged from the blackout period, but the recovery imagery airborne assets were able to pick up Integrity's descent almost immediately through entry interface, tracking the vehicle all the way down. And finally, you saw the sequence of chute deployments. First, the forward bay cover being pulled off the top of the vehicle by a series of 3 parachutes. Then the drogue chutes were deployed, followed by the 3 main chutes.
Thank you all.
That slowed the splashdown velocity of Integrity to just 19.
Thank you all for your prayers for this, because they were needed. Anything could have went wrong. We know that from the Challenger. Thank you, Harry Bear. Madison was invited to the premiere Black astronaut movie called The Space Race. Victor is profiled in this also. Very, very proud. Just godly proud of what you have done to mold Madison in that way. And we are praying for and expecting big things for Madison. In fact, I pray, Heavenly Father, for Madison Barron right now. I thank you, Lord, for just putting that in her, for taking her where you have purpose for her to be. Thank you, Lord, that she will become great as she continues to matriculate through school, to study hard, to discipline herself, to, as her parents are doing, keeping her around the right people, the right company. We just thank you that there's nothing that can pull her off target, nothing whatsoever. We thank you that she has a vision for her life. That vision is guiding her and leading her and causing her to stay away from anything that would, again, pull her off track. Because we know where there's no vision, the people perish, because they have no restraint. So we pray that in Jesus' name over Madison Barron. All right. All right.
Capability between the crew on board Integrity and the recovery team. That will get sorted out here shortly. There's plenty of cooling on board Integrity, so there's no rush to begin the power down.
To call you on the sat phone and not getting an answer there either.
Concur. We haven't had anything come through.
I love this. Hidden Figures. The saga continues. Thanks to you, Ms. Johnson.
And Houston, if you could relay to recovery that we hear them, but it does not appear as though they are hearing us.
Those Navy vessels are there to pick them up now.
Houston copies, and Reid, just to confirm, you are pushing the PTT on the radio.
So as we continue to sort out the communications between Integrity and the recovery teams, we are standing by for the initiation of the power down procedures that, as you see, the recovery teams are moving towards the side of the capsule.
I just want to really emphasize to you all that don't let people tell us that we are not worthy, that we are undeserving, that we haven't earned everything that we've gotten, that Victor Glover didn't deserve to be in that space capsule. Don't let these people do this. You grow up in the average black family, you know, and you're being told that you can't get away with what some of the others get away with, that you have to be twice as better, twice as good. You got to work harder. Is that fair? No. But it's the reality. It's the reality. I remember drilling that into my children. You cannot get away with what they get away with. You must be better. You will not get the grace that they get. And that's why this DEI junk is just pure junk. Don't let folks gaslight us like that. No. We deserve to be there. We deserve to be at the table. It was our agency, our hard work that got us where we are. By God's grace. Yes, I don't know the ages of folks, but those of us who grew up watching Star Trek, I cannot remember the lieutenant, the black woman who was like Captain Kirk's like number one science person that he would go to a lot. Somebody tell me, what was her name? You know, her character. Yes, Javon, in spite of. In spite of. Harry Bear, absolutely. We will keep Miss Madison Barron in our prayers. Okay. All right. Thank you. Lieutenant Uhura. Did I say it right? Because I never did know her name. I mean, I was a child. But I definitely see her right now. I can see her. And I watched that show a lot. Ursula. Okay. Okay, we're getting different spellings. So the next thing that we're waiting for here is basically for them to retrieve the astronauts. okay, for them to retrieve them and take them where they can go and start recovering, getting acclimated for Earth's forces. Gravity is one of the big ones. Some folks are making some comments.
Workforce, the years, the effort, the late nights, all the hard work from across the country that contributed to this incredible moment right now. And yeah, incredibly grateful too for our teams here on the John P. Murtha right now.
Yeah, look at them behind us here.
Got everybody. Hey, what do you guys think? We just brought some astronauts back from the moon, huh? Unbelievable. Thank you. Yeah, so grateful to the Navy, the sailors that are here, the NASA teams. I mean, this is a joint effort that's on their way right now. These recovery forces are getting out to our Orion spacecraft, to Integrity, to get our astronauts back on the ship safely.
Yeah, and this is not just an accomplishment for NASA. This is an accomplishment for humanity. Again, a historic mission to the moon and back. How does this make you feel, and what do you hope people take away from this?
Well, I'll tell you, I think about the crew members that we've all had an opportunity to observe over the last 10 days, right? I mean, they're absolutely professional astronauts. I mean, wonderful communicators, almost poets. But then I think these were the ambassadors from humanity to the stars that we sent out there right now. And I can't imagine a better crew than the Artemis II crew that just completed a perfect mission right now. So yes, it's a huge moment for everybody, right? I mean, we are back in the business of sending astronauts to the moon, bringing them back safely, and to set up for a series more. I mean, this is not a once-in-a-lifetime, which you hear sometimes around here. It's like, this was a once-in-a-lifetime. No, it's not. This is just the beginning. We are going to get back into doing this with frequency, sending missions to the moon until we land on it in 2028 and start building our base.
Yeah, are we going to build on the momentum for Artemis III? I mean, it's just around the corner.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's, part of me too. Like, I can't wait to get the crew off of Integrity right now, but also getting Integrity back on this ship so we can start taking a look at it, because all that data is so precious to us right now. I mean, we are going to definitely want to take a good look at the thermal protection system. We're going to want to download all the data they couldn't transmit back to us.
And remember this, folks. We together, we watched the takeoff. We watched them as they went their furthest point from Earth. Remember, we watched that live. We watched the takeoff live. And then now we have watched them return safely. We did that. We did that. Give yourselves a round of applause. Absolutely. We did that. We were there, celebrating the history that was being made. And let me say, today I heard something that really touched my heart. Miss Koch, one of the astronauts, she's the white lady astronaut. She literally thanked Katherine Johnson. She thanked another lady, I can't remember, somebody will tell me in the comments if you heard her. She did that. She thanked them in a conversation that she had with, I believe it was with Houston. She thanked the civil rights work. She did that. I'm glad I remembered to let you know that, Miss Koch. She did that. And so I wanted to make sure that I thanked her for that recognition, because in the climate that we're in right now, that took courage. That took courage. Dorothy Vaughan. Absolutely.
The procedures that will lead to the power down of the spacecraft, which is gently bobbing in the Pacific following a bullseye touchdown. That occurred at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time, 2.5 hours before sunset in the Pacific, southwest of San Diego.
You know, Scott Bridge said they should have a woman set foot on the moon on the Artemis III mission. I so agree with that. I so agree with that. Let me tell you why I love promoting the sisters. First, I grew up around a bunch of really strong women. Okay, my grandmother, I had many aunts, and I think most importantly, I'm a girl dad. I'm a girl dad, and I remember telling her as a young woman, and I had to be real intentional about these things. I remember it so well. I had to be real intentional. I told her, and I remember, I said, you can do anything a man can do. You can achieve your dreams. You can compete with any man and going to space or achieving any goal that you have. Don't think of yourself as less than. Okay? And yeah, and of course, I wouldn't be anything without my wife. I mean, just a tremendous. So anyway, I won't get too personal, but I agree with that, Scott Bridge. I agree with that wholeheartedly. You know, we exposed her to all of our children. We exposed her to you know, people who had accomplished lots of things. Um, you know, we were just real intentional about these things. Okay, very, very intentional.
So just to recap, it has been some 26.5 minutes since the splashdown of Integrity in the Pacific. The vehicle is in excellent shape. It performed like a champ all the way down through the Earth's atmosphere. All of the vehicle functions were checked off in excellent trip hammer fashion. The parachutes all deployed as planned. Splashdown occurring at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time. And after a bit of a tussle to try to establish a communications link with the recovery team, we were finally able to run through the procedures for the powering down of the vehicle. We've handed over mission authority to the Exploration Ground Systems folks out in the Pacific, and the recovery team will be approaching the vehicle shortly to erect the inflatable raft called the front porch before opening the hatch to Integrity to bring the crew members onto that raft before they're hoisted onto two Navy helicopters, two crew members for each helicopter, before they're flown back to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha.
Wow. do this while we wait, you all. If you would, shout out some African American men and women scientists whose shoulders we stand on today. Not only we as African Americans, but the country. Just shout out some. I'll start with George Washington Carver. I'll start with him. Because some people seem to think that our contributions have been minuscule. They would be wrong. Charles Drew, absolutely. Came up with the science, the medical science for blood plasma. Benjamin Banneker, absolutely. I forgot what he did. Let me think about it a second. It'll come to me. McCoy. Elisa McCoy, wasn't it Elijah McCoy? Am I wrong? Could be wrong about that. Dr. Gladys West created GPS. Dr. Gladys West created GPS, people. All the GPS stuff, she created that. Mae Jemison. Tyson. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil's a pretty heavy guy. He's a smart dude. Who else? I have a bunch on my mind.
This is Mission Control Houston. After talking to the flight dynamics folks, we have a bit of a refinement on the splashdown time for you. Their computation shows a splashdown time of 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time, 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time.
Now, that's just like scientists to want to make sure they get it precisely correct.
That would equate to a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 15 seconds. Once again, from Flight Dynamics, a splashdown time of 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time. That would equate to a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 15 seconds.
Just like scientists. Got to get it precisely correct. Precisely.
Reports from the Pacific indicate that the recovery team, in communications with the crew aboard Integrity, that the crew remains in excellent shape as they await the approach of the team for a final hazard gas evaluation before they move to the side of the vehicle to erect the inflatable life raft called the front porch.
And by the way, Scott Bridge, I saw when you shouted your girlfriend out. Absolutely. Absolutely. Percy.
Again, no issues with Integrity. The vehicle is powered down. All of its systems are now safed. We have handed over mission authority to the Exploration Ground Systems folks in the Pacific, but we will not stand down and have the entry flight control team depart its positions until that inflatable raft The front porch is erected, the hatch open, and the crew having exited the vehicle. So that's the next step in the recovery process that will lead to the hoisting of the crew members. For 2 crew members for each helicopter, they'll be hoisted to a pair of Navy helicopters that will then fly a short distance back to the USS John P. Murtha. What you're looking at is one of the fast boats circling the vehicle to make a hazard assessment.
Eli Whitney, Dr. Patricia Bath. Did Benjamin Banneker, did he also create the stoplight? Am I confusing him with someone? Patricia Bath, cataract surgery. Vivian Thomas, that is another great movie to watch. What a brilliant man who should have been a celebrated physician but for Jim Crow. We couldn't have had a more perfect mission here. Everything was just spot on. With a black pilot. Oh, I'm not going to let anybody forget that. With a black pilot. Charles Parker, famous botanist. Of course, Mae Jameson. Garrison Morgan. Stoplight, okay. All right. Wasn't Benjamin Banneker. Thank you for that. You call all that black excellence. Black excellence. Granville T. Woods, known as the Black Edison, was a prolific inventor with over 50 patents. Awesome. Awesome.
This is Mission Control Houston. Once again, you're watching the initiation of the recovery of the Artemis crew aboard Integrity. All of the Navy divers and the fast boats are now approaching the spacecraft after conducting a hazard assessment. The vehicle has been powered down. Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling now waiting for the life raft, the front porch, to be erected along the side of the vehicle so that the hatch can be opened and the crew members extracted from Integrity, soon to be hoisted one by one into a pair of Navy helicopters for a short flight back to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha.
Let me tell you something. What you see,
and received a more official touchdown time.
Let me tell you this. What you see there are people who have trained for this over and 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 over again. I mean, when I was in the Navy, I can remember the drills going off, and you would hear everyone man your battle station. That meant get to where you were supposed to be and be ready to do what you have been training to do. Again, over and over and over again. So when you see those Navy vessels circle around that ship there and are ready to extract those astronauts, they know what they're doing. They are experts at this. The best in the world. The best in the world. Marion Koch invented technology, that's right, for Zoom, FaceTime, WhatsApp. Katherine Johnson, we cannot say enough about Miss Johnson. Dorothy Vaughan, Mary Jackson, the human computers for NASA. I'm just saying, we have been shouting her out. You're absolutely right. Mr. Smith, because we got to keep saying it. All of this was, that return especially, that re-entry was made possible by a black woman without any computers. She did it in her head. Matthew Hansen, explorer scientist. All these people made this possible. These are the contributions that we made to what you saw today. And they're trying to erase this history. They don't want this history taught. They don't want people to know our contributions. But we gonna keep it alive. I heard about some churches in Florida where DeSantis has been very active in terms of trying to get rid of Black history. But I heard about some churches in Florida who took it upon themselves to teach Black history. That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. Yes, Mr. Glover has 3 master's degrees. Absolutely right, and they claim he's a DEI hire. Someone asked the water temperature. I don't know specifically. I was stationed over there, but I can tell you, as far out as they are, it's probably pretty cold. And even on the coast, though, on that side of the country, on the West Coast, the water temperature is nowhere near as warm as here on the East Coast, especially when you go southeast. And even more so when you're down east, like, Texas, the Gulf, basically. Very warm water there. But out there, as far as that is my guess is that it's pretty cold out there. Jesse Eugene Russell, cell phone digitizer. All right. That's it. Yes, it's critical for parents of Black children to teach them about Black history. When I was a kid, a teenager, my parents didn't have a lot of education, but let me tell you what they did. Back then, there was something these kids know nothing about. Encyclopedias, okay? Which is a dinosaur nowadays, because you can pick this thing up right here, right? And have access to all kinds of information and knowledge. But back then, that was not the case. You either had to go to the library to find out stuff, or you didn't learn it. So my parents, although they had very little education and very little resources, I remember they bought a set of encyclopedia for me. Brown said, I remember it like it was yesterday. And it was in those books that I could see. And you could also get an addition to that. I think Ebony Magazine, maybe Johnson & Johnson publication, they also created a set of Black history books. And I can remember turning the pages of those books and seeing Constance Baker Motley, or Constance Motley Baker. She was the first Black female federal judge. I can still remember seeing her picture in those encyclopedias and that additional set. And that just really impacts a child to see someone who looked like them, doing great things. And not just on the basketball court, and not just on the football field, not just on the baseball diamond. I love every bit of that. Don't misunderstand me. Don't you misunderstand me at all. I played Little League baseball as a youth. I played football and basketball. I love sports. I love sports. And it's no question that we dominate, football and basketball. For some reason, we've gotten away from baseball. That was my favorite sport growing up. And so it was for other, for professional athletes like Michael Jordan. We're from the same area, and baseball was big where I'm from. But anyway, so I'm not taking anything away from that. But we can be great in so many other ways. And by the way, if a kid has a dream to be the next great football player, and I can tell you right now, that can happen. I have a cousin who is playing in the NFL right now. And I know his family very, very, in fact, when I say I know his family, I'm talking about the other side of his family. We're relatives. And he's doing very well. Just got a big fat paycheck. Just got a big fat payday that will tremendously impact his family, his immediate family, some of my cousins that I grew up with. So I know I'm not discouraging anyone who want to be great in sports. But the truth of the matter is, very, very, very few of our kids, even the exceptionally talented one, end up making it to the NFL or the NBA. So we need to say, yes, okay, I hear you. You want to be the next Michael Jordan, the next Kobe Bryant, the next this and that. I get it. But you also got to hit these books. You got to hit these books. You got to hit these books. You can play so long as you keep your grades up. Okay? Look at what's going on. I don't see the front porch yet. Like I was saying, these guys on this thing, they have been training for this. They're opening the door now. Let's go back to them.
To get the astronauts out. Again, we splashed down in the Pacific Ocean just after 5 p.m. Pacific time here. It's a requirement by NASA to be able to get the crew out of Orion within 2 hours of splashdown. So doing great on time so far. Plenty of time. No rush either. I was speaking to NASA flight surgeon Rick Schuring earlier in this broadcast, and he said to me, no rush to get the crew out. Just want to make sure that they're feeling good, and whenever they're ready to take their step out of Orion and onto that large raft, the front porch, folks will be ready. And as there are mission audio loops in mission control in Houston, there is a mission audio loop here on the ship, and it was just reported out that the side hatch is open. Side hatch of Integrity is open. You're getting these beautiful shots from our aerial assets. The ship itself, where I'm on, just 3,000 yards away. Again, plenty of people on the boat here, glued to the side closest to where they can see all this action. And again, with just 3,000 yards separating us, great views from the bow here. You can see now that side hatch is open. One of the Navy personnel is about to get inside there.
And by the way, you can't help but to be happy for our nation. Although sometimes they just don't treat us right. But we're still happy for our nation.
The goal is to have a recovery personnel with each astronaut assessing them.
Thank you for that, David. That's exactly what they were, those pictorial history books.
Boats getting closer now.
That's
Again,
exactly
that one
right,
that's
caller.
right up against Orion, those are the divers that will go in to the spacecraft to check on each of the astronauts. These other boats will begin doing a number of things, putting on that stabilization collar onto Orion, building that front
Caller,
porch.
you are absolutely right.
Eventually, they will retrieve the parachutes,
Joy in Mudville.
as well as tow
See
Orion
this
back to the
black
well
man
deck
lead this
of the
spaceship
recovery
all the
ship
way
here.
around Mars, pardon me, the moon and back. He may get the chance to do it when they go to Mars. Or Madison Barron. Some other
And so
black
as we
astronaut
wait
that's
for the
on
Navy
the
and
way.
NASA personnel to get their assessment of the crew inside of Orion, why don't we toss it back to Rob for an update?
Yeah, thank you, Megan. Here in Mission Control, Flight Director Rick Henfling and the entry team of flight controllers still on duty. The vehicle has been powered down for some time now. There are no hazardous gases emanating from Integrity. That, of course, allowed the recovery personnel to approach the vehicle and then open the hatch to begin the initial medical assessment of the crew, as you just indicated. Now we're standing by for the erection of that inflatable raft, the front porch, alongside of the vehicle that will enable the crew to be extracted one by one onto the raft, have a moment or two to get their land legs back before they're hoisted into two hovering Navy helicopters, 2 crew members for each helicopter, for a short flight back to the deck of the USS John P. Murtha. All of Integrity's systems operated flawlessly throughout the course of the approach to the Earth, the entry into the Earth's atmosphere, and all of the key milestones that followed in this high-speed return to Earth for Integrity, a mission that spanned more than 694,000 miles from the vehicle's launch from the Kennedy Space Center atop the Space Launch System back on April 1st.
60 to 64 degrees there. The water temperature here is probably, I'm guessing, 70. And in the summertime, it'll probably be 80. Absolutely. Congratulations to the whole crew. And we definitely shout out Victor Glover. And again, I really appreciate the Miss Koch shouting out Katherine Johnson and others. Dorothy Vaughan, I believe she even mentioned. Just to recognize our contribution to this. She said it would not be possible had it not been for Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan. That's what she said. The white female crew member. She said that today. I heard her.
As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the last time that the Apollo program saw a splashdown in the Pacific was Apollo 17 back on December 19th, 1972. So for the first time in some 53 and a half years, we have reenacted that with the arrival of Integrity's astronauts as they flew around the moon in that historic lunar flyby that began with a trans-lunar injection burn that took them out of Earth orbit following 24 hours of a high Earth orbit trajectory. The high Earth orbit trajectory enabled flight controllers here to have a full 24 hours to evaluate the systems on Integrity and the condition of the crew before they would commit to flying to the moon.
Those of you who shared with us for all 3 lives on Artemis, you are officially geeks. You are geeks and nerds. Bessie Coleman, black female aviator. Of course, Guy Bluford, first black American in space. Yes, it is true. I'm sorry. What happened to Charlie Kirk was just absolutely mind-blowing, quite frankly. But yes, for him to have said that when he sees a black pilot, that he has doubts as to whether or not that pilot is qualified. And he said that that was not because of the pilot's race, but because of DEI. I would have asked him, well, why you don't have that same feeling about other non-white pilots? Why just black? Why just black? Why not white women? Who benefit the most from DEI? Well, not Asian pilots. Why just black pilots? And again, what happened to him was just deplorable. Deplorable. That is not the way we settle our differences. Differences of opinions and differences of ideas.
With the side hatch of Orion having been opened to set the stage for the erection of the inflatable life raft, known as the front porch, to be erected alongside the spacecraft for the extraction of the crew, Let's play for you an interview that my colleague Megan Cruz conducted on the USS John P. Murtha with Navy diver First Class David McMahon that explains how this process is unfolding.
Okay, Davey, so you and some of your team, one last look over of the stabilization collar, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is this stabilization collar?
This is what's going to stabilize the capsule out there in the ocean. We don't know how good the weather or the waves will be that day, so this will help prevent any unnecessary occurrences from happening, stabilizing the capsule and the astronauts inside.
So basically this is a float that will go around Orion. I'm assuming that what they're doing right now, these are the lines that will attach the collar onto Orion?
That is correct.
And so what are they doing here?
So we've got the lower line that will secure the inflation device before we inflate it. That gives us the go-ahead that it's secure in its space, and then we'll inflate it. And then once that is done, we'll undo all the carabiners and get this orange line on top tied in the same fashion. And then this will be secured to the capsule, and the astronauts can safely take their first steps out of the capsule onto the front porch.
Okay, and how long will it take them to set up the stabilization collar?
We should definitely be able to handle this in under 10 minutes.
Okay, wow. And then you just mentioned the front porch. So basically after they set up this stabilization collar, then they set up what's called the front porch here.
That's correct.
Okay, and what's the front porch?
Front porch is basically a bigger waiting room for the astronauts to sit in while we wait for the helicopters to show up and grab them.
Okay, so the medical team that was inside with the crew, they're going to help them out and onto the front porch?
That is correct.
And then what happens here?
We have higher trained medical personnel also on board the front porch that will give them lookovers and just make sure they're okay while we wait for the helicopters to show up.
Okay. How does it feel, I mean, your team, you, to be part of a mission that's returning astronauts from the moon in more than 50 years?
We all feel extremely honored to be a part of this, as well as a bigger mission for the Navy and joining up with NASA to do great things.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like you and your team are ready?
Yes, very ready.
Cool. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Once again, the recovery operations are continuing out in the Pacific. We shortly should see that life raft, the front porch, erected alongside the side hatch of the vehicle. A number of flight controllers have come into the flight control room to receive congratulations from Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling. But we're going to stick with our operations out in the Pacific as we await the extraction of the 4 crew members who are reported to be in excellent condition.
I'm looking up something that I want to share with you all in just a second.
Again, while we stand by for that front porch to be erected alongside of the side hatch of the vehicle, let's go back to the USS John P. Murtha and Megan Cruz. Megan?
Hey, Rob. Pausing now to listen to some internal audio loops. Again, the operations team here on the ship communicating with everyone out on the water. It seems like currents are hindering them a little bit from unfurling and inflating the stabilization collar as well as the front porch. But again, the requirement to get the crew out within 2 hours of splashdown, plenty of time. So no concerns just yet. But as calm as the water looks, yeah, it looks like it's hindering the teams just a tad.
Somebody said, I guess I'm a geek. Laugh out loud. Yes. If you were with us all 3 times, what else explains you spending 2 hours, 3 different times watching this? There's something there. Someone said a lawyer who loves space stuff. Yes, I have said that I majored in chemistry in college and took a lot of physics and math and so forth. My first ambition was to become a patent lawyer. That's actually why I went to law school, to become a patent lawyer. I was working as a chemist, and the patent lawyer for the company I worked for suggested it. And I went to school for that purpose, but I'm so glad I didn't do that. That was not my calling, being a patent lawyer. I would have gotten bored stiff.
But again, all those folks out there, in case they weren't, right? NASA is all about making sure we think about every situation that can happen. And so, of course, wanted to be ready in case any of our astronauts needed more medical attention while out there in the water.
Somebody say, yes, I'm a big geek, space nerd, and happy. All right.
Teams again, trying to set up the stabilization collar and front porch.
Okay, Harry Bear. Yeah, we forgot about the Tuskegee Airmen. Absolutely, we forgot about them and their huge contribution to the military and the Air Force and so on. Thank God for them.
And then they will connect to the front porch to the stabilization collar so that the crew can take 2 steps and they will be in the front porch.
The current is pretty high, so I'm sure no one is wanting to fall off into the ocean. Oh, Javon, mechanical engineer, systems engineer, who had been following this since the Challenger explosion. I am a super geek. I love it. And a fella Aggie. That's an Aggie. He's an Aggie. He's an Aggie. So was Ron McNair. So was the Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. and many others.
Again, the goal, setting up the stabilization collar and the front porch so that
The person I looked up,
rest comfortably in the front porch.
we don't want to miss them come out, so
that 2 helicopters can lift them off the front porch and onto the USS John Murtha here. The helicopters are going to take turns picking up an astronaut. So again, Helo 1 and Helo 2.
But as I see all that stuff, it makes me think about...
And the recovery team here on the ship just got a report from the undersea medical officer who is inside the capsule with the crew. He is reporting all 4 members are green. All of our 4 astronauts, Reid, Victor, Christina, Jeremy, green, meaning they are feeling great, not the complexion of their skin. They're feeling great, happy to be home.
Excellent.
And ready to be extracted as soon as possible.
But as I see all this Navy stuff here, it makes me think about Carl Brashear.
2 helicopters circling the activity you're seeing on the water
one
right
of the first African-American Navy master divers.
Picking up an astronaut. So
despite having the lower left part of his leg amputated. And if you ever watch that movie, if it is a true depiction, and I'm sure it didn't even scratch the surface of the opposition that he received trying to become that Navy diver. It's a great movie. I've watched it a half a dozen times. Carl Brashear. I think the movie A Man of Honor or something to that
and then Helo 1 will come back in for another
effect, but his name again, Carl Brashear. Brashear spelled, let me let you hear this. You will love that movie. Brashear, Brashear.
Assistant Artemis Recovery
When I
Director
see all this
Paul
stuff, think about him.
Sierpinski. He said helos are a much quicker, safer way to get on board. They did actually consider boats, but then if you think about it, longer time.
Yes.
The crew would have to move through more of the ship.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
This way, the helo
played that character, and he really rocked it. He rocked
the medical bay for our 4 astronauts.
Men of honor, yes.
Beautiful shots from our aerial and imagery teams. Clouds have dissipated for a clear view from the bow of the recovery ship here.
Yeah, Robert De Niro played Carr's Navy trainer.
You can still see divers in the water there.
See? It's what made me think about Carr Brashear.
Circling Orion, that is that stabilization collar we've been telling you about. As you saw in that interview just a few minutes ago, they have to first connect it to Orion, and then once it's secured onto Orion, they can inflate it, and then they'll further secure it with other harnesses and lines.
Yeah, the guy who did the interview just a few minutes ago talking about how they do this front porch maneuver, I assure you, he has trained to do that so much. I mean, just over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's the way you perfect stuff, right? That's the way you perfect it.
Reid, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy back home after a history-making mission to the moon and back.
When they retrieve them, we will end alive at that point. I just want to see them
And if you missed what we said
come
just
out.
a couple of minutes ago, the undersea medical officer inside with the crew in Orion reporting all 4 crew members feeling great.
Look at that diver down in that water.
Progress being made there on the stabilization collar. It looks like they are beginning to inflate
Look at that
it.
diver. There's 2 of them. I see 2. 3.
And it looks like they're starting to
They're
unfold
hosting that.
the front porch in order to get that into the water here shortly.
Wow.
And inflate that as well.
All Brashear. And he had his
Again,
haters.
More than 40 people
Not
out in the water right now.
want it's another DEI busting
And those
story.
Navy and NASA personnel have been in the water for now.
When I say DEI busting, I mean
hours.
the ideal that Black people are in positions because of DEI, not because of their agency, not because of their hard work, not because of their qualifications, but simply because of their skin color. When in America did Black skin become an advantage? That's foolishness.
When there are flight operations happening, you can't have anything else, right? Just because the flight deck can be a dangerous place, so they just want to focus on planes coming and going from the ship, so that's
Yes,
why they
thank
wanted
you.
to get the boats in the water.
Have a good one.
to make sure that they have all the time they needed for the flight.
We're going to go as soon as they force those astronauts out of this capsule.
And then the same crew here out in the water, they will stay out in the water for
capsule.
a number of hours
Orion.
after we recover the crew and get them back on the ship, because then they have to recover Orion. All right, that stabilization collar looking good around Orion. We're now seeing some recovery personnel getting on to that collar. Again, they need to further attach it to Orion to make sure that it can really prop up the spacecraft. It's basically lifting it up off of the water just a tad.
Folks who are the best in the
so
world
it's not
at what they do, train every day for this moment.
So it doesn't sway so much in the water there.
Like a track star who trains 4 years. 4 years.
And now that front porch looks like it's nearly fully inflated as well. You can see a much larger surface area.
A very small amount of time, depending on the rate.
And so once the crew get out of Orion, they can stretch their legs a little bit on this front porch, get some fresh air.
Yes, take care. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. Keep safe.
And enjoy this beautiful day here.
Here's the front porch.
On their home planet.
There it is. Here's the front porch.
Teams now are about to connect the front porch to the stabilization collar. And at that point, when both are secure, we should soon see astronauts come out of Orion. All these views you see also being fed to the Landing Force Operations Center here on the ship. Of course, it is very important for our recovery teams.
And keep in mind too, the crew has been in space where there's been no gravity. They have not had, the full use of all their limbs. Their minds need to get reoriented. And so therefore, it's kind of dangerous for them to have to come out and do what's necessary to get over into the raft there, the front porch. So this is still somewhat of a dangerous proposition, although what they've already dealt with, this pales in comparison. But we don't want to get here and something crazy happens.
The helicopters for the crew. 2-3 minutes, and then they'll be back here on the ship.
I know.
Yes, there are some black people who wanted to watch and enjoy all of this science, all of this technology, all this math, all this physics, all this chemistry.
It looks like
yes,
they're now getting ready
we're out
to
here.
Deploy
especially
what they
when
call
a brother
the Air Rescue Vest, ARV.
is piloting ship.
And so this is the harness that each crew
And
member will get into in
three
order to
systems
be
in the
hoisted
background.
into the helicopters. Again, those helicopters hovering
Yeah,
just
these
about 40
sisters
feet
here are
above the front
all
porch when they're ready to pick up each crew member.
a part of this mission and a part of NASA. Absolutely. See somebody. That's one of. Did you get ready to bring? You all are Greek certified. Pardon me, you are geek certified, not Greek. Geek certified at this point. You have, if you were here for all three, you have 6 hours of watching this tremendous science, technology, engineering, and math mission. I'm saying that you're geek certified.
This is Mission Control Houston. Behind me, a fairly raucous scene as hundreds of flight controllers have poured into the flight control room here. This is reminiscent of the scene after the final shuttle mission of STS-135, although that was the end of a program. This is only the beginning of a program with the textbook splashdown of Integrity and its 4 astronauts. We're standing by for the crew to be extracted from the spacecraft. Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling invited all of these flight controllers who have contributed to this mission to enter the flight control room to have an opportunity to receive well wishes and to share the mutual glow that exists in the wake of a textbook mission for Integrity. On the front screen here in Mission Control, a sign that says "Welcome home, Integrity," taking humanity back to the moon, going further, and returning safely to Earth. So all of that jubilation, part of the post-splashdown activities, even as we await the crew being extracted from the vehicle to be hoisted onto Navy helicopters for the trip back to the USS John P. Murtha.
St. Albans, Queens in the house. St. Albans, Queens in the house. Jamaica, Queens. Jamaica Avenue. Farmers Boulevard. Guy Brewer. PS-15.
Once again here in Mission Control, this view of the Artemis Flight Control Room, known as the White Flight Control Room. This is the old shuttle flight control room, and now is the home of Artemis missions to the moon and beyond. Once again, quite a few flight controllers were invited in by Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling to share in the jubilation following the successful splashdown of Integrity. That splashdown occurring an hour and 22 minutes ago, as we stand by for the completion of the extraction of the crew, and ultimately they're hoisting onto Navy helicopters for a short flight back to the USS John P. Murtha. Splashdown occurred at 7:07 and 27 seconds p.m. Central Time. I had an opportunity to talk to the head of flight dynamics, Jeff Birch, a moment or two ago. He said the trajectory of Integrity coming through the Earth's atmosphere was so precise, they've never seen anything line up on a ground track like today's entry by Integrity for its splashdown southwest of San Diego.
Thank you to Katherine Johnson. Yes, that is the Pacific Ocean outside of San Diego. LA in the house.
And the initial, you can hear it.
Amargosa Valley.
Jubilation here in the flight control room. The first crew member is out of integrity.
And I don't know if you say Nevada or Nevada. Maybe you can tell me. Teresa Pratt. Nevada. Amargosa Valley, just outside of
We are expecting the other crew members momentarily to be extracted.
We have enjoyed your presence here and your contributions.
We now have 2 crew members out.
They probably can't even walk.
2 crew members out, 2 to go.
Wow. Wow.
We're about 1 hour from sunset out in the Pacific. Everything continues to go well. Integrity's systems function perfectly during its entry back to Earth. And Reid Wiseman, the commander who will be last out of the vehicle, reported that all the crew members were feeling very well.
They said that they like to have the crew out within 2 hours of splashdown, and I think they're well within that.
Crew member number 3 now out.
If I could stand up right now, I would stand up.
And now standing by for the commander, Reid Wiseman, who will be last out of his ship. Bobbing in the Pacific under almost ideal conditions, Integrity spanned 694,000 miles during its journey from launch to splashdown.
Lafayette, Louisiana in the house. The first one is the correct pronunciation, but I forgot which one I said first. I think Nevada. Thank you, Charles Howard. One more. The captain of...
And we now have Reid Wiseman out of the vehicle. All 4 crew members now out of Integrity.
The captain of the boat always leaves last. That's amazing, you all. I'm going to stop this live at this point, but I tell you what, I'm going to watch the rest of it. I want to see the helicopters lift them up. I want to see every bit of it. I want to see every bit of it, but I am not going to hold you all here. We've been here now 2 hours and 44 seconds. Now, you are a geek at this point. You are a geek, okay? And
Once
for
again,
some of
all 4 crew members now on the front porch. And the procedure to begin hoisting them up to these 2 Navy helicopters hovering overhead will begin shortly.
Wow. So yeah, I'm going to end it here. Yes, you all are welcome. I enjoyed it immensely. Thank you to you all. I can't tell you how grateful I am of you all and how proud I am of you all, because they try to make it seem like we're not scientists. We don't think, all of that. No. And this is a DEI busting mission. When you got these many African Americans, in addition to Victor Glover, you got these sisters. And there are others, I'm sure. So this was an important mission here. And in a small way, we played a part in it. Every prayer we ushered up for them, right? And this is great for our country. I got to say that, because we're in the middle of a space race, like when Sputnik. Remember back with Sputnik? So we're showing we still got that mojo. And this is just the beginning, as they said. And we, African-American people, are all up
This
in...
is Mission Control Houston. The mission is over, but the melody lingers on.
All right.
As, jubilation continues.
I'm signing
here
out.
In the flight control room.
Thank you all so much.
We should be expecting
Peace.
NASA's Associate Administrator, Amit
Love.
Shatria, to be joining us shortly
So,
for a short interview while the recovery operations continue
stay
out
woke.
in the Pacific. So we'll stand by for that.